Hey, this is Mark with Practical Stills. Time to open up another bottle. This one's got more of a story to it. So I've mentioned before that this year I'm trying to get more into barrel picks, and there's a club here in the Denver area in particular that I'm involved with that does a lot of barrel picks. And the club itself is a charitable organization. So the things we do in that club, or the club does mostly, I don't want to say we as if I participate in it from an administrative level, but the things that club does supports other organizations around the country. And that's pretty cool. And today the whiskey we're going to open is a Fireside straight bourbon whiskey. This is one of the picks from a batch that the fellow that runs the club called the Trust Me batch, because they weren't necessarily the normal picks. So this Fireside straight bourbon whiskey is 3 years, 2 months old. It's 127.7 proof. And it was one of the ones that was in that batch of Trust Me batches. The cool thing about this is Fireside's produced by Mile High Spirits in Denver, and they do it all. So first of all, they work with local farmers for the corn, the barley, and the rye they use. And they distill and age, bottle and age here in Denver. So that's kind of cool. I have to say that it's going to be a real trust me for a 3-year-old whiskey, but let's see. Those guys, Ben in particular, and the people that pick the barrels do a really good job. So let's see how this one goes. And I did not pre-open this one like I usually do to make it simpler. Well, lovely nose out of the bottle. It's a very dark color, and for only 3 years too. I do not know the barrel size. I should look that up to see if they're using standard 53-gallon barrels or if they're going smaller. Smaller barrels are used to try and speed up the aging process a bit. It's got more wood contact with the spirit. I gotta say, it smells delicious. So there's a fair amount more alcohol on the nose than from the glass than the bottle. Definitely hugs you. The proof, whew, yeah, the proof's all there. 127.7, did I say? Yeah. Boy, it's all there too. Let's give that a minute to subside. Okay, so the flavor is quite good. That is a mouthful of proof when it goes in. No doubt that you're drinking a barrel proof whiskey at that point. It's almonds. It's almonds and lots of corn. The flavors are good. There's a lot of ethanol. There's a lot of alcohol on it. I think this one would do well to be poured. The rule of thumb is a minute per year. Let it rest before you start drinking it. This one, I'd say leave this one out for 15 minutes or so. Let some of that alcohol burn off. But the nose is pleasant. It's almonds or pecans. It's nutty. Not overly charry like you get on a lot of young whiskeys. Well, it is hot, but I gotta say it's hot with flavor, and a surprising amount of flavor. Now it is some young barrel influence in there. It's a touch grainy, not much. I don't think I'd guess this one at under 4. It feels around. Now I'll tell you what, we're going to put a little water in there and see if we can tamp that heat a bit. And by the way, that's 3 times looks like a lot, but it's not that much water. Yeah, so that softens the nose. A little more of the sugars come out. Yeah, tames the heat just nicely. In fact, no, I might keep it about that much water. I was going to say maybe a little less. It's still hot now, but it's just more of a hug on the tongue. Yeah, I think that one sits open a bit. Let it tame that way. When you pour it, let it sit on the counter for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Drop a little fresh water, but that is I'm pleasantly surprised at a 3-year, 2-year-old bourbon. I'm super happy it's a local product, a small distillery that's supporting local farmers. I say all good. I don't know what to tell you about the cost because the single barrels can range in cost. This was part of that 5-bottle Trust Me group. Now, I went with, you could have gotten 5 750 milliliter bottles. I went with 3 750s and 2 375s, and it was $220. So basically, if you take 220 divide it by 4, because 2 of those bottles are half size, so around $55 per. If I pay $55 for this, probably not. It's a little young and wild for $50, but if this ends up being, and I really should have looked before, I'll look before we go back to the bottle and what these typically cost. But if this is $40, $45, I think that's exciting considering what it contributes to in the local market. So once again, you got to taste. You can't tell from age on a bottle. You can't tell from a distillery. You can't tell from a lot of things. You got to taste the whiskey. So chase this one if you get a chance. A Fireside single barrel. They do other spirits too, gins and other things at the distillery. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying something like this that's a little surprising, let us know. Love to know what you think. Cheers.